what other things have you been busted with your Chrome tabs not getting closed up?
I have nothing to hide from my girlfriend, so often like I'll throw my phone at her, like, "Hey, hold it," or like I'll be openly looking at things, like, and they have been caught with a lot of stuff. I had to purge my Instagram because I think one wild thing is like when you go from being like a single guy for as long as I was to like being in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize just how much I had to purge in my phone of like
Oh, there's a lot.
Instagram pages that I followed, Snapchats that I followed, people that I kind of like, I was flirting with, but not really like we weren't doing anything. Just like there's just like I had to like really kind of tone down a lot, and it was nothing like my girlfriend wasn't like clean up your phone. It was just personally I didn't feel right like following certain people or still talking to certain people while getting into a more serious relationship with her. So
you unfollowed Martin Shkreli and
yeah, I spent a weekend like unfollowing like every comic in Portland.
Oh my god, you got to get rid of all those jackasses. It's just filth. The internet's just filled with filth, man.
It's a while just how many like you'll be watching a TikTok, it's just a funny TikTok, and you go on someone's profile and it's like, "Oh, if you follow me on OnlyFans," you can like it's just like everyone has an OnlyFans now. Everybody's selling some
got
some
one.
stuff.
I mean, I don't know anyone that has one, but
I think you do.
A lot of people,
and you don't like you don't know.
Okay, well, maybe you know something I don't know, but as far as I know, I don't know anyone that has an OnlyFans account. But the internet is really, it's just a disaster. We're really documenting the downfall of society, which is cool. We're getting a really good, thorough documentation of how the world is crumbling around us. So at least when the next, the next society that rises up can look back at the history of what we did and be like, okay, yeah, they really blew that. Social media was bad. Because, look, we're going to have to get off this planet, right? We're going to have to find a new planet or figure out how to get all the junk out of the water. What do you think's first? Just go to the new planet, try to start fresh, or junk out of the water? Because you got to get water on the planet. I guess there's probably water on a lot of the planets anyways.
I think they did find like frozen water in Mars. I think we have to. I'm big on staying on Earth and
you're a big Earth guy.
I'm a big Earth fixer. If that were a faction, also, it's gonna be crappy for a long time at another planet, like hundreds of years before we fully catch up.
Yeah, but hopefully
think about how long it takes to build a building in Portland, Maine.
A Motel 6,
It takes forever.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I think ideally we wouldn't be on the planet until it's like chill.
Yeah, there has to be some sacrificial fish, but
sacrificial fish.
Something about the internet and about disconnecting a little bit. The AI pin is now available for purchase.
What is it?
The AI pin. It's just called AI pin, I think. And it's literally like a magnetic pin you put on your shirt, and it's its own device. It does not rely on your cell phone. You pay $24 a month, $700 up front, $24 a month for access to their network, and it basically you just talk to it, and it does everything your phone's supposed to do. It has a projector that projects a laser on your hand.
Yeah.
And you can do stuff through there, but that's it. And the idea of it's supposed to limit the amount of screen time and keep you present while still being able to have connectivity and ask questions and be like, hey, remember this appointment, do that. But it launched, and do you know Kebe X something? He's a tech YouTuber, very, very talented, been a YouTuber forever, and he has ripped into them completely because it's like a useless product. He bought it, tested it out. He's like, really wanted this to work, and they've spent millions of dollars on advertising. You probably have seen their ads and you don't even remember.
Exactly.
Like, so many.
I don't even remember. I'm never going to buy it. Yeah, idiots.
You remember the rabbit? It's just like the rabbit we talked about.
Yeah, useless devices. This is the thing is like, they're just trying to sell us another thing. Here's what's up. People don't like talking to machines. I hate it. Do you have a problem with it at all? Does any of that bother
my God,
you?
It pisses me off over the phones. I hate the automatic phone system.
I hate it.
I don't want to talk. I hate it when they're like, oh, the automatic phone system can help you. First off, I'm not stupid. We talked about this before. Stupid people go to banks, right? Dumb people. If I'm calling you from a customer service level, I want a human being to help me. That's why I've tried the online. I've tried all the.
I know.
I've tried all that. It hasn't worked for me.
They should. This is what they gotta do. They gotta have a. You gotta have an IQ test. It's locked. No one knows what it is, but all the machines know what they're working with, so that when you call in to these stupid customer service lines, they know, okay, this guy's tried to turn it off. This guy's done all the, rebooted the modem. They've tried all this stuff that everybody knows to do. It's a deeper problem. Get me a person, because I bet you 99% of all these calls are for idiots being like, I don't know why my computer doesn't turn on. And they're like, did you plug it in? Oh, whoops. And that happens. It happens all the time.
And one thing I appreciate, some companies, instead of the robocall, will do this. They'll say, hey, we'll call you back within an hour to 30 minutes. 30 minutes to an hour. Just press that button instead of waiting on hold.
Oh, my God.
And I do that all the time.
They do that.
And I'm like, I trust that. And if you don't call me back, then I can call back and be mad.
Yeah, I'll be mad.
But usually they always call you back. And they're like, we'll call you back at 30 minutes to an hour. There are better fixes than having a dumb, it's just X's and O's, and you just keep hitting O as much as you can. Fun tip, if you're on the phones and you just slam 0 as much as you can usually get to a person. If you hit X or pound, you can get to a person sometimes.
The people like us that we know all the dumb fixes already and we try those people, we already know the 0. We know it, but
sometimes the pound. A lot of people don't know the pound.
Sometimes the pound, sometimes the 0. Either way, I don't like reciting my account number out loud.
Yeah.
Because it's often business related, and do you know how dumb I feel like I sound when I'm just in a quiet office and all of a sudden I have to be like, 041444217ZQPRTQ, and they're like,
sometimes they let you punch that in, and also that's work product, Keith. You need to be careful putting out that number there.
Yeah,
but I think some you can punch in, but you're right. Like the letters, I hate.
That. There's pure hate, and they make you say it.
And it's 2024. Have a good online system.
Exactly. And I do have one tip that maybe not everybody knows. If you do have to talk to the stupid machines, they're actually pretty quick. So you can say the numbers fast. You can really just rip those numbers. You can be 442165 as long as you get the numbers out.
Have you ever had people make you repeat the number even though you pressed it in, you said it slow on the record?
I've never had that.
I've had that 1,000 times. It's like you make me go through this gambit and you're like, well, what is that account number again?
Is it because of your black scent?
I think it is. Because I call in, maybe I'm not calling them right. I'm like, I was good. What's up? What's happening? What's up, Spectrum? No. I go in high white. I go in high elvish white.
Yeah.
You do. How are you doing today? How's it going?
How are you?
Oh my God. I'm so happy. I've had a good, how are you? One thing.
It's like if Karen could be gay. And that's what you go in
Ellen
as.
DeGeneres.
You go in as Ellen.
I go in hot. One thing too about those automated systems, pretty funny. They can read tone. They can hear, if you yell or raise your voice.
My account number is 0254144.
So because of that fact, the fact that I know I'm going to repeat the damn account number again if I get through them. I don't even give them the account number. And I'm like, supervisor. And they're like, well, we want to help you as best as we can. And I'm like, manager. That was too loud. And they're like, no. And then I'm like, human being. And they're like, okay, it sounds like you want to speak to a human being. We'll get you. And they can read tone. I have friends who've worked in like big call centers, and those machines can figure out if you repeat something enough and if you're loud enough that you're mad, and they'll just send you over to like an escalation group.
It really is pretty infuriating when you're just you're waiting on hold for something so basic. And the callback should be automatic. They should let you just do that right away. Just like call us, you push the 2, we'll call you back at this number.
There should be a better way of going about that stuff, and they don't do it because they're lazy. They don't care. Like,
it's true, because
most
some people
companies
wait.
just want to get you as a customer, and they just don't care afterwards. Like, there are some companies that are great that care about the service, but once your check's cleared or you're in their system, they're kind of done. Or once they have your data, because they sell your data nowadays, you know.
Yeah. I'll say this. My internet died during the bad ice storm, or the bad snowstorm a couple weeks back, and I had to wait on the line because I wanted to talk to a person, and it didn't give me the option to do a call back because there was just so many people calling in. I ended up having to wait a half an hour, but I got a person, and I kind of had to beg and plead a little bit to have them come out to fix my internet. I wanted priority because they told me I couldn't move the wire. Did I tell you about this?
You couldn't move the wire?
Yeah, so the wire for the internet fell right across the driveway, and I was like, I'm pretty sure internet wires are safe, but I don't want to just touch it without asking first. I want to double check and make sure that it is safe to move a wire. I'm not going to be stupid and just electrocute myself.
Sounds
possibly.
like you're a coward to me, but it's whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of freaking out. I'm like, I can't shovel. I don't have enough. I can't shovel my driveway because it's right on the snowbank. I'm like, I can't shovel around it. That's like not going to work. So I call him like, hey, it's in my driveway. And I waited a half hour to get a person. And I'm like, can you just send someone? They're like, we can't get someone there until like 2 days from now. I was like, seriously? 2 days? I'm stuck in my house. You can't just get someone to just, if they're in Portland, and just quickly move my wire out and then call it good. Like, it'll be 2 days. And I was like, damn it. I was like, all right, fine. So I'm smart, right? I think we're both smart. You probably would have come to this conclusion eventually. What do you think you'd do if you couldn't move a wire out of your driveway? How would you get it out of the driveway? What are you going to do?
I'd probably do some Googling to see like how safe is it to touch like a cable wire.
I did that, and I couldn't get a real answer.
Did they tell you if it was safe to move or not?
They told me not to touch it.
Okay. Then I would have lost my shit on the phone and asked to speak to a supervisor or manager, because like not only...
Oh, he's asking for the manager.
Oh, yeah. Because not only are you like, I'm going to keep you guys without internet for 2 days, but then I'm like, well, do I drive over it? You guys are trapping me in my house. I can't back my car out. That's a whole nother problem.
That's what I was
telling
That is
a utility issue.
And I was
like, you guys own that line. I don't own it.
Yeah.
So get your ass over here and fix it today.
But and she's like, I completely understand. She's like, but it's like, it's this crazy storm. There's so many people that have the same issue as you, and you're not the first one to have the issue, so you're not the first in line. So like,
well, tell me how many people have a line on their driveway.
Exactly.
Walk me through that.
Exactly.
Is it 10? Then I think you should go to all of them today.
I eventually was like, because they figure they're sending someone out, they'd have to fix the internet too. So, because they're not really going to move it and then bye. Like, they're not going to do that. So, they don't do that kind of visit, you know? So, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a genius, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know what I did? It was really wet snow. Made some huge snowballs where the wire was hanging. I went over, I threw a snowball at the wire, and it pulled the wire out enough where it got it out of my driveway. I didn't have to touch it.
Jesus Christ. I'd go full Karen mode. That's so freaking ridiculous. But Snowball, I wouldn't have figured that out.
I
Maybe
felt so smart. I was like,
that's
I
smart.
am on another level.
And you know that snowstorm was a good snowstorm for that. Because
Exactly.
the snowballs were good.
Big.
That not every
serious.
snowstorm could have helped you out in that situation.
No.
Because it was awful to shovel. I don't have a snowblower like you. When we were shoveling it, I got a pump. I got a pump from that snow. That was like thick snow.
Yeah, it was bad. And we managed to I got the wire out. We were internetless for 2 days, but we had power, which was funny because we had an episode where you were like, when do you ever lose internet and have power?
I didn't know like that could be a combo, but it makes sense if the physical wire to your home is. Yeah.
So guess who had all the freaking DVDs to watch?
Well,
This
you
guy.
also have a guitar and you have offline.
I have a family.
I
I
always
have all.
keep,
I had plenty to keep me busy, is what I'm saying.
I have an amount of offline video games that I have specifically for this purpose.
But you miss the internet. You miss it because, yeah, you can get it on your phone, but everyone's trying to get it on their phone, and so it's bogged down. It's real slow when your electricity's down or your internet's down. The towers are bogged. You can't do anything. That's why, like,
you just play Dragon's Dogma, man. You just hop on, you RPG it. That's why you got to have 4 or 5 emergency games in case you're in that rare scenario.
I've got Valheim. That's offline.
Valheim
I can do that.
is offline.
You can do offline.
You can play
mode.
offline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have to log in? You know what sucks is some games where you have to play online, like freaking Diablo.
Diablo 2, even you can play offline, but you have to go online to log in.
It's so stupid.
It is very dumb.
Yeah.
I was
Blizzard,
pretty annoyed because I tried to. That was one of the games I tried to log into. I was like, I wonder if it'll let me, but it was like download the update. I'm like, well, I can't do that.
So dumb. And they make you still download. Like it was 70 gigs, 78 gigs.
Oh, for Diablo 4?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was massive.
I haven't played that game yet. It's not cheap enough yet.
It'll get cheaper. They weren't doing as well as
they have
were.
done some sales, so maybe it'll pique my interest at some point. But
I had an insane amount of fun. I'll go back to it, do a new build. There's so many games I want to go back to.
I'll wait a couple years. I think they're probably gonna have an expansion at some point.
I think they've already done mini expansions.
Yeah, and the seasons are kind of expansion-y, I guess. I've heard.
There's a at the end of the game there's room for a few major expansions, but
for all the Diablo enthusiasts, Matt Gary.
It's a good game. Go fun game. I wish I had more friends to play with though. That's one thing I don't. All my friends are like we have different schedules, so like I don't get to play enough games with them. Like,
it's true. It's tough to find the time to game.
I miss having like friends that would we would raid. Like I had a Destiny group of friends that would just raid all the time.
Is Destiny kind of like Borderlands?
Borderlandsy.
It's not worth it. I've never played
anymore.
Destiny.
It's not a fun game. It's not worth it anymore. It used to be amazingly fun.
Yeah.
But they added, just like most things, when you add capitalism to something, you just ruin it.
They've been adding capitalism.
They added silver. This thing called silver that you could pay real money for, and you could pretty much get good stuff that way. And they made it more. It was just dumb. They took a lot of the random chance out of the way. Like you could go into like a normal hub world and just shoot little minions and randomly get a great gun. It took a lot. The numbers were nuts, but like you could randomly roll and get like a super cool item, just like in a world just shooting little minions for hours.
Well, that's pretty fun. I wonder, like, I liked Fortnite back when it was fairly new. I think within the first year it came out, I played a decent amount of Fortnite for a while. My computer kind of sucked, so I would just get blown away all the time by all these people with fast computers, because that game is like really, it was like pretty intense with all the building that was going on, and like your computer would just slow down if you didn't have anything fast. So I'd get wrecked by people a lot. But
if you still have it on your computer, you should delete it.
I think I did delete it
because there was a problem. Epic Games. I deleted all of Epic Games. I like Epic Games, but like apparently there was for a while there was like a vulnerability that was out there. They all have vulnerabilities, but
yeah. But I was wondering. The reason I bring it up, the thing I liked about Fortnite was that it was free to play, and all the all the monetization was strictly
Aesthetic.
cosmetic.
Yeah. League of Legends had the same model.
Right. And is that still the case? Are there advantages to spending money on Fortnite still? Or at this
I'm
point?
not a huge Fortnite fan.
You don't follow it?
Last time I played it, it doesn't look like you get too much of an advantage. You definitely want to spend money on it if you're into it, from my understanding. Because if I were to get into it, like I had friends who wanted to play Fortnite every day, I would have to spend money on it because I'd want to spend money on some of the cool anime skins that they have. Like, and you can be...
That's how they get you.
Can be Goku. And like, it's... As a company, Epic Games and Fortnite are killing it because all the collabs they're doing, like
No, I remember the last
wild.
one I really followed was when they had the Thanos glove in the game, which was insane. Like there was one glove that someone could find in the game, and then they'd be Thanos, and they would just have way more power than everyone, and you'd have to like team up to get that one person. So it was like you wanted to be the last one with the Thanos glove. It was pretty wild.
Dude, they had virtual concerts. Travis Scott had a concert on freaking Fortnite. Like,
I remember when they blew up the world at one point.
The folks behind that
they
game...
had some comet hit one time. They cracked the sky, and then they did all this. And I remember playing the game. They were like, if you play it at noon, like whatever day, and you're there, and you could see it happen live. And I logged in. I did that crap.
It's cool. I respect it. I never got into it. I played PUBG, Player Unknown Battlegrounds.
Yeah,
that a lot.
Yeah, I remember people playing that. Everyone plays no build Fortnite, which I think is corny, but it takes away the point of the game. I thought it's a different game, but people really like it. So I think the building it's like a whole other aspect of the game now. So. People are obsessed.
I enjoy Helldiver. I like more cooperative games like that. Where like we're trying to, PvE it a lot. I don't know. All I know is esports freaking growing a lot more. It's way cooler to be good at a video game than it used to when we were growing up. Like, it's wild. Some of the schools have them. Like USM has like an esports team. All these high schools have esports teams. It's wild.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, I was watching an old Red Bar clip, and he was talking about this interview between Danny Brown and Steve-O. Did you ever see that?
No.
So Steve-O, you know who Steve-O is.
I know both of them individually.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you know Danny Brown. We talked about Danny Brown.
I love
before.
Danny Brown.
Triple X. I knew you'd know both of these people, but Danny Brown is
I'm also a huge
rapper, a funny guy. He has a podcast.
He's from the Big D.
He's been in jail. Just a cool guy. But anyway, Steve-O's on his podcast.
I think he's more than just he's been in jail.
I know, that's what I want to say because I knew you'd be upset.
I feel like there's more to Danny Brown than that. Very talented rapper.
I said that already.
Gives a lot of money to the folks in Detroit. Can we uplift a black man? Why we got to take him back to jail?
I'm about to uplift him.
Why we got to take him back there?
I'm about to pick his ass up, right? So Danny, my man Danny, has Steve-O on his podcast, and he's just talking about creativity, and he mentions, he's like, and when I'm not doing drugs and I'm sober, I'm more creative on stage. And Steve-O goes, "What do you do on stage?" Isn't that hilarious?
It's not creative.
That was a really good closed mouth yawn you just did. I like that.
I closed mouth yawned. Sorry.
That was a big, it's a big cheek action. There was a spasm happening when you yawn. It was wild. You guys, you might want to rewind that and zoom in and really look at that.
I feel really embarrassed.
It's like really funny looking, dude.
It hit me.
It was good. I like the closed mouth yawn. It was very. I do it all. I'm guilty. But anyway, Danny Brown. Unless you need a rebuttal. Do you need a rebut?
I think I'll concede. I think that was a great observation. If I were to rate it, I would say there's a reason why I would never want to go against you in a roast competition. You hit me creatively, it was one of those jabs I didn't see coming, and I just want to say, here you go. Yep.
You
cheers.
concede.
Concede.
Okay.
No, Danny Brown, after seeing him on stage, I'll say he's not that fun, that creative on stage. He's a great rapper. He doesn't really dance that much. He's kind of awkward. He looks like he has autism.
He's like a famed video game player. You know, that's made me think of this. He loves video games, right?
Oh, yeah.
You
He's
know,
a nerd.
Big nerd, big video game guy.
I didn't even know he was like that. When I listened to his music, I was more interested in Triple X is a really good album. You should listen to it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite albums.
And he does like a wheel spin, and they get a random topic, and it was like video game of the year. And he asks Steve-O, what's your favorite video game of the year? And he goes, Steve-O, do you play video games? And then Steve-O just went on this like 2-minute rant about how bad video games are. He's like, I don't play them. It's just a bunch of people sitting on their ass, a bunch of losers. And he just like tears everything down. And then basically I felt like Danny Brown just cut the interview almost right there. Like after he said that, he's like, well, I think we're done here. And it was like a half-hour podcast, which is hilarious. He didn't know who he was, and he didn't.
Was this Danny Brown on Steve-O's show or Steve-O on Danny Brown's show?
Steve-O on Danny Brown's show.
Was this Danny's house? Danny has a lot of. Danny Brown has a lot of shows. There's Danny's house where he does short form interviews.
It was the YMH one.
Okay.
But it was just on the topic of video games, and it just crossed my feeds again today, and because we were talking about it, made me think of it. I thought it was really funny. But
some people hate him, man.
Yeah, people.
Oh my god.
I mean, I love him, but I do feel a tremendous guilt, and when I'm playing them.
I don't, because people feel no guilt when people will gladly tell you they binge watched a season of How I Met Your Mother,
and that's the lowest.
And they're
form.
like, oh my god, I just love the show. Yum, I stayed up all night watching this.
Sure.
And I'm
exactly.
like, I played video games for a couple hours. Like,
yeah,
like one is more interactive.
Exactly. It's way. I think it's no different than any form of like not doing any physical activity type of entertainment.
I'm not going to be lectured about video games by somebody who binge watches Netflix or binge watches porn or binge watches a bunch of other crap.
Yeah.
Just because this isn't the form of media that you prefer. Man, one big thing when I was dating, Courtney loves video games, doesn't like it when I play for a long time on my own, but she plays Switch and all that stuff. But dude, I dated one girl. She said one time I was just like, we'd spent a day together. I was like, can I just play video games for an hour? And she was like really mad at me, and she made that 1 hour brutal to the point where I just stopped. I was just okay, cool, whatever. And like she was like, this is the least sexy thing ever. Like, what's the point of this? What the fuck is that? And I just really don't like it when people talk shit about games like that interpersonally. Well, at the same time, she wants to spend all day watching Netflix. Exactly.
You're spending your time on a leisure activity where you're not being creative. And even in video games, it's, you are being creative in the moment with making decisions. You're making decisions, whereas when you're watching something, you're not making any decisions. You're just absorbing.
It's like a book. That's how I think about it. It's like a book.
Right.
I play a lot of single player narrative driven games, and it's like this giant book opening up to you, and there's these fun adventures, and a bit of it's a power fantasy, but it's I'll read the giant, in Baldur's Gate, I'll read the little books that they have and learn about the lore in the game and have fun with that, and get super immersed. But fun story, little Danny Brown related here. Danny Brown, Steve-O related. I was dating this girl, and we were going back and forth about life, and
was her name Steve-O Brown?
It was Steve-O Brown. Me and Steve-O Brown were chatting, and we talked about kids.
Yeah.
And I had mentioned that a dream of mine at the time was that if I were to ever have a daughter,
Mm.
because of everything my mom has done for me, I would name her after my daughter. And I'm not going to say my mom's
You'd
name.
name your daughter after your mother.
What did I say? Oh, being stupid. I would name my daughter after my mother.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And I'd be like, I told her my mom's name.
Mo's mom.
Catherine.
Yeah. Kathy.
Kathy.
Kathy Awale.
And I didn't tell her it was my mom's name.
Uh-huh.
I just said the name. This is the name I would want my daughter to have. Catherine. And she spent 20 minutes dogging on the name Catherine.
Sure.
And she's, Catherine? Ew! Catherine sounds like a freaking dog's name. What the heck? Who the hell wants to be called Catherine?
Yeah.
I don't ever want, if I had a kid named Catherine, I'd fucking kill it.
It's a
fucking kill that kid.
Right?
It's such an awful name.
Catherine,
for like
right?
20
Think
minutes.
about all the dogs in your neighborhood that named Catherine, all the cats,
Oh
the
my
cat.
God. I would
Catherine.
have an abortion if that kid's name was Catherine. Oh my God.
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah. Everything. And then she starts laughing. She's like, what a ridiculous thing. Me and you aren't going anywhere if that was ever a name that you picked. And I was like, that's my mom's name.
You just started packing your bags.
And she doubled down.
Wow.
It was pretty funny.
Did you say, what's your mom's name? And then just start dogging on that?
I never got to know her parents' name. No.
Yeah. It was probably Karen.
Also, we were just she did joke around about it. I just love the fact she doubled down afterwards, because I hate it when someone backs off after something like that.
Yeah.
Doubled down.
Sounds like she was a keeper.
She wasn't.
Just kidding.
I am too. But no, that was a funny. It's weird when like someone's like dogs on. That's a vulnerable moment to say like, hey, do you like video games? Like.
Yeah.
Or do you like something I like?
I know. I had a famous thing where I told someone my daughter's name and they had a really bad reaction to it. And I was like...
Your daughter has a great name.
I think so. And a lot of people say, they're like, I love that name.
It's a great name.
People are like, that's such a cool... And it seems genuine. Like, no one's like, oh yeah. Like, it's always like, that's such a cool name.
It's a perfect name.
It's a great name. But
great name,
someone
great kid.
Someone close to me in my life was like, that's not a good name. You shouldn't name your kid that. And I was very shocked and appalled by that. And I was like, I mean, it caused a
What name
riff.
were they recommending?
They were not recommending a name, but it was just like...
No, don't come criticize my ideas without a recommendation.
I know.
You have to have a recommendation.
But here's also the thing. You don't get a recommendation when someone's saying, I'm naming my child this.
Yeah.
You don't get a recommendation. You don't like the name, you know what you do? You shut the fuck up. That's what you do.
Also, what a hill to die on.
It's a wild hill.
What a hill to die on.
It's a wild hill to die on.
So,
yeah.
Even if I thought your kid's name sucked, I don't think I would tell you.
You'd say great name.
Unless you name them like after a dictator. You were like, I'm going to call him Little Fidel. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Fidel's a great name.
This is my son, Adolf,
This is my son, Adolf. Like,
we don't do that.
That's different. But your kid
it's more like, are you sure you want to name your kid Joseph Stalin? Like, are you 100% positive?
Not to step, I believe in parents' rights,
Do you want to call your kid Mao Zedong? I don't know.
Yeah, call my kid Little Pol Pot.
Yeah. You're going to name your son Kim Jong-un? That's a wild name.
I also think that puts you on a list. That puts you on a list in the North Korean list.
They're like, he named his son after me. They're like, we'll make sure he lives.
Yeah, and we eventually take over Great America.
Oh, it's a good accent. What is that? Spanish?
I think it's Chipotle.
Is that Chipotle accent?
It's Chipotle accent. Have you ever listened to like old school cartoons and just like missed like good old fashioned fun racism? Like not mean-spirited racism,
I love fun
racism.
Fun racism
like
is
Speedy Gonzalez
is 100%. I love fun racism.
Speedy Gonzalez. Have
the
you
harmless stuff?
harmless, like relative, like I don't know. I was watching some Speedy Gonzalez and
like you don't mind coming to my house and I have a variety of lawn jockeys right on the front. That doesn't bother you. It's fun,
and I appreciate the warmth of the cross outside.
Yeah, it's warm. I like to keep it on. I keep it turned on. I have the propane going right to it.
Cold winter day in Maine. It's nice to just go, Keith. Keith kept me nice and warm out here.
The heat lamps are going. Oh, your heat lamps are tall and have arms. That's fun.
I really think the engineering in your, immortal cross outside is impressive.
Yeah. It's one of those eternal flames.
When was the last cross burning? I haven't seen that in forever. It's like
old school.
The Ku Klux Klan has kind of like lost lost their touch.
No, I don't. I think maybe they're running out of money. They can't afford the crosses anymore.
I think it's the quality of members now. It just like isn't there.
But yeah, Speedy Gonzalez, classic. That's canceled.
For sure canceled, and obviously I'm joking, but like,
dude,
I just go back and listen to some of that stuff, and I'm like, it was funny. I kind of see how the boys in the writing room, and they're all boys, came up with that. But
dude, Mexicans are the best when it comes to racial jokes. Just the best. It's like they have the best sense of humor. Of like when, like, I've never been. I don't know if I've talked about. I hope I haven't talked about it. I went to Vegas once with 3 Mexicans, even though one of them was technically South American. We all called him Mexican anyway. Even the Mexicans call him Mexican because it's just fun. Because they don't really like that, but it's still like a fun little. Hey, you're Mexican.
Was he Guatemalan or something?
He was El Salvadorian.
Oh, that's gonna be my second guess.
Oh, good guess. Good second guess.
El Salvadorians.
But no, the whole time they were just ripping on me for being white, and I would rip on them for being Mexican, and then it was really just a nice bond of just racial jokes the whole time. And then one of my buddy, whose name is also Fidel, which great name.
Yeah, great name.
He
friend of the show.
Friend of the show, Fidel Hernandez, friend of the show. He was like. He married a white woman, so they always, and he lived in
traitor.
He lived in Huntington Beach, so it was like a very white. Just he was like a whitewashed Mexican guy. So very fun, just a very fun time, and we just good old fashioned
the boys just hanging out.
Go to Vegas with
I think there's a line
Hispanic men, and you'll have a good time.
There's a line with that stuff, but like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we've gotten a little oversensitive, but we're not. The problem is, here's why I stutter here. Here's why I'm stuttering.
Did I stutter?
This is why I'm stuttering. It's because okay. I am very left leaning, and I very much like oppose. I believe if you're not anti-racist, you're not an ally. You're not a good person. You have to be anti-racist. You have to be outwardly like, no, we draw a line on that stuff. But like, I feel like we've taken like the bar that is racism and we've kind of raised it so high. But whenever like you kind of talk about that stuff and you advocate and you're like, hey guys, let's chill out. Let's be a little cooler. Let's give people a break. Let's educate people. Let's get people, who might be on the fence about black folks, get them on the other side or something. But no, because like you attract a crowd of people that are so socially dumb that they're just like, oh, that means I can say the N-word, right? Mo says that, people are acting a little too sensitive. That means I can say the N-word now.
No, yeah, so, because I've never been that comfortable. Some people I've seen be that comfortable, white, calling some black guy that, and then him calling him whatever he calls him, and they're friends and they hug, and it's like that's
sad.
That was over a decade ago. I don't think I'll ever see that again. But that was like
we had a meeting.
That was wild.
When that happened, we had a meeting. But no, that's one thing I've never understood. I remember one guy who wasn't white. He's actually Arab, tried that with me. He was trying to call me my N-word, and he would use the hard R sometimes. And I didn't know how to deal with it outside of just not be his friend anymore. Does it even matter
at that point if it's the hard R?
It doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters. I think you just saying
it. But I remember we had an interaction where like I just stopped talking to him, but like my friend was with me at the time, and he heard him say this, and my friend looked at me like, "You haven't beaten this fucking dude's ass yet?" And then the guy looked over and he's like, "Oh, no, it's cool. I'm Arab." And then my friend, my black friend, was like, "Oh, okay, then it's fine." That was the dumbest, it's the weirdest interaction. I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "If this was a white dude, I'd beat his ass." But I'm like, "Oh, he's Arab. He's fine. He gets like three. He gets like three chances." Like, what? What is this? But no, it's like when you talk about the stuff and you're like, "Hey guys, we are overly sensitive." Like as a society, I think we're overly sensitive on both sides of the spectrum. But it's like, the minute you start saying that, people start being like, "Oh, this black guy agrees with the fact that I don't like Mexicans." Like, or like this black guy saw that. But
it's just
whatever.
Yeah, you can't necessarily know. You can't necessarily know. But I think a fun racial joke has to be delivered from a good place.
Yeah, I think it has to be with a certain amount of love. It should be accurate and it should be funny. That's the thing. If it's a really funny joke, like, I hate to say it, but when Louis C.K. was doing that bit, the N-word bit, he's like, "I don't hate," I forget how he delivered it. I think he said, "I don't like the N-word. And by that, I don't mean," and then he says it.
Yes.
He says, "I just don't like the N-word."
Yeah.
Because now you're making me think it and
head,
say
yeah.
it. And I'm like, that's a pretty cool observation. That's a funny joke. And nobody had a problem with that in like 2015. When was Louis' height? It was before he got canceled.
That was probably maybe even like 2011.
Killing it.
Something like that. It was earlier on.
I feel like it was later. But regardless, when Louis was at his height, that's a good joke, right? And that never canceled him. What canceled him later is what he did to white women. But that is that's the way you could deliver that stuff. There are a lot of white comics that make racial jokes that are very funny. As long as you can make it funny and pointed, and you're not like punching down, it's great. And I love black audience members.
Segura
Usually black audience members are great.
To Segura, nothing that's on Netflix, but he has a CD where it's on there.
He says the N-word?
It's, yeah, he does say it, but he's like, he met a little person, and they were like saying, midget is like saying
the N-word,
and then, but he says it. And he's like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's not, because I think if you say, I'm still like, this big different." Like, he just says it's not the same. That's his bit. It's actually kind of a hacky bit, and it was early on, and I'm sure he's not proud of it. I'm sure.
That's not necessarily funny to me, but who knows? I just think even if you use the word too, like, I don't think you can use the word now. I think anything now, like using the actual N-word and you're white, I think it's unless you're playing, unless you're playing
Call of Duty,
slave owner. Or basically the same thing. Call of Duty is such a toxic game.
I don't play it. I know that there's problems.
There's problems in the community.
Yeah.
I remember League of Legends, they were thinking about doing a voice chat, and I was just like, that is how I have been called so many awful things on League of Legends.
No, I have a friend who's been banned for calling people awful things on League of Legends.
Oh, yeah. I got banned for saying awful things on League of Legends.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I played it for an hour one time, and I was like, I can't get into this.
Dude, if they released, like, with names, the chat logs from League, so many people would lose their jobs.
Oh, I mean,
I've written awful things.
My Discord, if they ever found that, I'd be canceled.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all bad. I mean, but that's your audience. That's your friends. You know each other. You can make jokes that you can't say on stage. It's just what it is.
Yeah, it's always fun to take some of those jokes and work them in a way that you can say them on stage. Because I think I say some pretty challenging stuff sometimes on stage. But I always feel weird saying the N-word on stage, even though I technically am allowed to say it.
No, you're not. You get the wrong voice for it.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's like, it feels like white audiences shut down, especially in like New England, when you say that. When I say that, my N-word bit,
you haven't done it in a long time.
I have a bit where I say, I say the N-word, and then I joke about how these two white dudes, I heard them say it, and they said it better than me. And I joke about that. And
Yeah.
and
the two white guys in the bit were actually just one, and it was me.
Yeah, it was really just Keith walking by 7-Eleven. But no, I did that same joke in Boston. People love it. I did it in Chicago. People loved it.
Yeah.
But like,
the whiter the audience, the tighter the audience.
Yeah. But like when like there are some black folks there, I'm like, oh, I could say my N-word bit, and people are gonna laugh.
And they do.
They do. But it's like weird. It's like looking for permission to laugh.
I've only got to perform for an all black audience one time, and
did you crush?
It was great. Yeah, it was really.
They're
good.
a great audience.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say the same for every. I don't know, but for me, that one show in front of 15 black people.
You counted them out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a guesstimate. I wasn't like 1, 2, skip a few, 15.
No. I love all audience members, but
on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so that's another little bonus. I was the only white guy.
The junior. A lot of people forget that he's a junior.
Yeah, I actually think about him being a junior an awful lot. I like. No, that's what I mostly think about. I'm like, he's a junior, right? Oh yeah, he did some other stuff too.
Yeah. I was actually listening to when I was driving back home from the last time we met.
You were listening to the "I Have a Dream" speech.
I was listening to Malcolm X talk.
Oh, good.
I was enjoying some Malcolm X talk. He was talking about how white men were stealing black women.
That's what I've done my whole life. That's all I do.
Yeah, having met your partner, yeah, confirm very black,
extremely black.
Very black. He's like Bill Burr.
That's right.
Bill Burr, everybody.
Bill Burr.
Oh jeez.
Oh jeez.
Oh jeez.
Oh boy.
You know what podcast I've been watching a lot?
Is it good?
Neil Brennan's Blocks.
You've been blocking it out.
I've been blocking it out, man. He's nuts. He's so good.
He's nuts. He's so good.
He's so good. He's bananas.
I love the special blocks. A lot of people dogged it. No, I shouldn't say a lot of people. I think a lot of people praised it, but a lot of comedians that I know made fun of it, especially the end, which I thought was the coolest part.
I never watched the.
You never seen the block special?
I need to watch it. I've been thinking of it. It's on my list. But
and he's got a new special that's out now. On Netflix, I think.
It's wild to think he wrote for the Chappelle Show and everything, and
he's like co-creator.
Yeah.
He's like the Larry David of Chappelle.
To Dave Chappelle.
He's like the Larry David of Chappelle.
Super talented. But I just appreciate the podcast more because he's a great interviewer. And he asks great questions. And I love the way that it's filled. Like he asks the people before they show up, what are your blocks? And they all have their go. And just learning more about Bill Burr in a different way, like his insecurities or like what he's thinking about.
I think a lot of people don't. I'm surprised that it works because I think, well, he's at a level where I think he's getting maybe better guests, people that you could say, hey, do some homework for me before you do my podcast. I need you to do this homework,
Well, I also
like a homework assignment. Whereas I think a lot of comedians just want to show up and do the podcast. They don't want to have to prepare for it.
I also think it makes your job easier because then you know what you're coming into. I have to talk about 5 different subjects. Think about this. Gabriel Iglesias. How many podcasts have you seen him do that you watch and you're like, I'm getting to learn a lot about Fluffy? Not a lot. But they have an in-depth one. I never knew. Gabriel Iglesias is because of how famous he is, he's oh, when I meet people, I'm already super generous with them up front, so they don't try to betray me. Because I feel like people betray me. They try to get to know me. They try to get as much money from me as possible, then they run away. And I've had this happen to me.
I like to be
as
betrayed.
A protective thing, when I meet someone new, I'm super generous. I give them stuff, and I want them to go away.
Do you like being betrayed? Me. Being betrayed sometimes is fun because you got something else to talk about. Because when you get to, I got betrayed. It's betrayal. It sounds
I'm already
so dramatic.
Wired so tight. It's so hard to be my friend already.
How
it doesn't even matter.
How could I betray you? What's one way I could betray you?
I don't think you could betray me.
I couldn't do it.
Well, what do you mean?
Would you call what's something I could do? You'd be like, wow, that's a betrayal.
I Dude, even if you kicked me off the podcast and replaced me with like a different black guy, I wouldn't really
what if I got
hold it against you.
What if I got another black guy in here?
It depends if they were more handsome than me, but that's not possible.
That's not possible.
No, I'm kidding.
Where am I gonna find another black guy?
Dude, resentment is hard to hold on to. Like
betrayal.
I don't know. Like, you wouldn't betray me. How would I betray you? What could I do to?
You could start. You could, I don't know. You could release the videotape that you have of me.
Oh no, I need to hold on to that.
Yeah.
That's the thing about blackmail. Mm-hmm. You kind of lose all your power when it's gone.
Yeah, once the blackmail's gone.
You hold on to the blackmail.
I hold on to my blackmail.
Knew that was coming.
Yeah. You set me up for it. You asked me. The comedy police would get mad at me if I didn't say something about it.
Oh, jeez. No, you should watch the Gabriel Iglesias one. It's weird because like how many videos?
For which
it's blocks.
Oh
with
yeah.
Neil. Yeah,
okay.
They go through. It's one of his blocks, and he's like, I'm sensitive. I went through this, and like, I've had people take money from me. I've had people like really like mess me up, and Neil's funny. Neil freaking sent a jab his way too. He's like, Gabe, it's really hard to book you and work with you because your team sucks. He's like, they're so hard to get to, and he's like, yeah, they suck, but they're my friends. I'm like,
that's cool. Well, I mean, like people owe me money,
You do know, yeah.
The fattest Mexican guy I've ever met owes me $500.
Really?
Yeah.
You let a fat Mexican guy do that to you?
I let him.
Fat guy do that to you? Because you can catch them.
You can catch them, not when they live 3,000 miles away.
Probably not worth.
And he's got a name. I mean, let's just be honest. Mexican names. There's like 8 of them. There's like 8 first names and like 8 last names. And I guess.
How do you steal $500 from you? Are you allowed to say?
Well, he just told me he would. He told me that he would pay me for some stuff that I sold him, but he wasn't going to get the money till later. And I had something notarized, so I was like, okay, this way I can get the money back if there's any problems. And then I didn't really think about how much of a pain in the ass pursuing this thing would be. Like think about it. I'm all the way on the other part of the country. If you sue someone, you have to be there, right?
Yeah.
And so, what am I going to fly across the country to get $500? It's like stupid.
Yeah. Well,
it was kind of a dumb idea.
Maybe you could argue you'd get your flight and everything. You could argue.
Well, that's what would have to be all my travel time and all that stuff.
But then you'd also have to think: could I collect from them? Is he someone I can collect from?
Right.
If he's not someone you can collect from, a judgment's kind of like some people are immune to judgment.
Yeah, like. This guy, he's probably not quite as big as you. He's pretty close, though.
Yeah, but bullets still work.
True. The one thing... So, he was sleeping on my couch.
Oh.
And it was the couch... I just bought this couch at IKEA. So, it's like... This couch was maybe 6 months old when he moved in. And he slept on my couch for a month. And at the end of the month, my couch was
sagging,
absolutely destroyed. He killed my couch. It was done. It was toast, dude. I mean, but and I was like, I can't move this across the country anyway. But like, also you ruined it, so like, kind of should pay me for this couch that I let you sleep on. You know what I mean? Have you ever ruined a couch by being a plus size man?
I have. We're in the couch at our place. Yeah. Couches are expensive.
I will say this couch is
standing up.
No issues.
Well, I'm really like holding myself up a lot. I really, when I sit down, I hold up because
you're not fully.
I don't want to. You're
not relaxed.
If I'm honestly not putting 100% of my power into this sit. Yeah. If I went full, like if I put one leg up, I'm worried. I'm worried. I don't even want to.
Do you think my coffee table would explode with the force of your powers?
Dude, if I let out my full power, I'm just saying,
yeah,
this house might be destroyed. I'm kind of keeping myself up. No, I think you made the right call, man. You can't sue everybody and win. Suing someone for a couch would probably piss off a small claims judge. Like, dude, you're here for $500 on a couch.
It was a couch and a bed. He bought a used bed off me, which, I mean, just goes to show how...
Can we double back?
How bad that guy's life really is, and how I didn't really feel like I needed to make it any worse in a way.
You'd go to heaven because of this, but...
Yeah.
You got a notary for that? You notarized something for this?
Yeah. It wasn't like it was right across the street.
You wait. So you
go to the UPS,
wrote up a contract.
Yeah.
You had the contract
I thought it was
notarized.
Smart. Yeah, I still have it.
For like what? $500.
Yeah, I think I actually have it right nearby. I think it's in this. I think I kept it in here.
Do you know I'm a notary?
I didn't.
I'm a notary. I just think it's, if somebody came to me and said, "Hey Mo, can you notarize this for me?"
This is notarized.
Jesus Christ! Can I read this?
Let me see. Is it 5? Was I right about the amount? Yeah, 5. I was right.
Can I read this?
Yeah. Read it.
So, bill of sale: one couch for $300, one fridge $100, one mattress and box spring $100, $500. This is the total to be paid to Keith Hebert by X. The amount is to be paid in full by May 27th, 2020.
It didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Oh my God.
So with interest,
can I
with
read the
compound
date?
Interest.
There's no interest in the deal.
I
You
know,
didn't write that up, so
but
that doesn't matter. Keith Hebert, 12/16/2011. So you gave him a substantial amount of time to pay you back. You gave him about 6 months.
I did.
And some change.
Yeah.
To come up with $500.
I was like $100 a month, roughly.
Well, actually, I take that back about interest. If you did sue, depending on the state,
yeah.
Some states might have a law about like you can charge interest on top. I just mean you don't have any interest in the actual contract, but you did. You did have this. You had this freaking notarized, dude. That's wild.
Yeah. Which
That's wild.
I almost feel bad because that was just like another $20 or something that I lost.
Yeah.
I think we actually split the notarizing, the notary costs.
That's wild.
Yeah, I did that. I thought I was being smart, but it was kind of useless.
That is, yeah, it's funny, dude. That's cool. Yeah.
Isn't it funny that I had it right nearby? I had it right nearby.
Pronounce the last name of the notary there.
Filikowski?
I thought that was a cool last name.
December 2011. Yeah, great times. That's when I moved back to Maine from California.
I think it's almost worth it for the funny story at that point, man. It's a funny story.
It is. And I had, at that point, I was unemployed for about 6 months when that happened. So I felt like I leached off the system a decent amount of money in that amount of time. So I was kind of like, some you win some, you lose some sort of thing. So whatever.
No, in the end of the day, I don't think it was worth chasing it. I will say, my mom taught me something that I've always kept to me. It's a life lesson I'll never walk away from, which is, if you ever give someone something or give them money, do so with the thought that you will never get it back. And if you do that, you're always free. And don't give anyone something if you know you care enough to need it back. So, that's always given me peace of mind, because there have been times, especially around the pandemic, someone close to me would need help.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be they'd ask for something, and I would have to, what's an amount of money, or, what's something I can give them that I know no matter what, there's no resentment. There's no paying me back. There's no, whatever. And
That's a cool...
It's a way to live.
That's a cool way to live. I feel like
you don't want to think about that, you know?
And the other cool thing is for me, if I gave you herpes, I'd still have it. And this has been Mo Keith time. All right, thank you.
Thanks for the herpes.